everyone, this is the Exotic Bourbon Hunter, and this is going to be a very special video. I was personally invited to the Lugos Distillery. I did purchase one of their bottles, which I'll get a little more into depth with. But first, before we get into this little bit of a program, the Exotic Bourbon Hunter channel has grown exponentially. I am just 85 subscribers short of achieving my goal of 1,000 subscribers. So Kevin is here to ask, and I'm here to ask, if maybe you could like and subscribe to the channel. It's free. Please help me continue to grow in the YouTube community. And I want to thank you very much for your participation and your comments and your feedback. I've been able to grow significantly from everyone's comments. They've let me know what I've been doing wrong over the past year or so in order to improve my content. But please, hit that subscribe button. Bada bing, bada boom. Let the show begin. I am here and was personally invited over here to the Lugos Craft Distillery over in Lakeland, Florida. They have amazing spirits over here, and also this is a great place to go if you're coming down here to Florida, well, Central Florida, for vacation. It is not too far away from Disney, Universal Studios, SeaWorld, and Legoland. I'm going to tell you this, you guys are in for a treat. Lugos Distillery, all right? I will be coming in here shortly to look over some goodies that they have to offer here, and I can't wait to show you what hidden gems may possibly be inside that were just crafted at this beautiful craft distillery. Here's the phone number to the distillery here. I am personally going to be meeting up with Christian Lugos, one of the superstars that is involved in this whole amazing operation. When I first arrived here at the Lugos Craft Distillery, the building is number 2500. It's suite 208. I will tell you this, when I first came in, it brought me over to a roofing company. But as you can see, it'll be the building that is facing the pond over here. We have a bunch of, have a big audience of ducks over here that actually love watching me film this little bit of a skit. So, here we go, guys. Let's go inside. Here we are, guys. We're here at the Lugos Distillery. This is inside of their gift shop. You guys are going to get a personalized tour of this distillery. The Lugos family is from Puerto Rico. Christian Lugos, who is here today, is a chemist by trade. He has brought in some of his educational background into the distilling process. They also just upgraded their big still here. It's a 500-gallon still. But let's see what they got here in the gift shop before we get into other stuff. Their Coquito. I will be leaving with a bottle of Coquito today, the Lugos Coquito. I think I might go with this pumpkin spice. And I might even go with, they got pistachio, original coconut. They also have, looks like that's it. Oh yeah, just the pumpkin spice there. And then they have their other Lugos rum bottles, uncut, unfiltered. Now, as you know, I did some videos for the roasted spirits, including the Blanton's Gold and the Stag Jr. Now, that barrel of Stag Jr., after they took out the Stag Jr. bourbon, was actually brought here to the Lugos Distillery, and they aged a rum for 1 year with that Stag Jr. barrel. I did get to try a little, and it's a really delicious rum that's finished in the barrel. But here at the Lugos Distillery, you get some beautiful Glencairn, some rocks glasses, and they also have some of their other Lugos products here. They have some hats, sun hats, and then they also have some shirts over here. So when you come in here and you're on your vacation, don't forget to stop into their gift store here and pick up some of their products here, some of their Lugos rum products. I will also have Christian coming on here today, and he's going to go a little more into depth about their operation here. And they even have these beautiful, beautiful, I call these decanters, but they could be a beautiful infinity bottle with the Lugos Distillery laser encoded on the bottles. They even have some risky rum maple syrup. This is not Vermont, this is Florida, but they've got your maple syrup for the cold days that are ahead here in winter. Here's some of their shirts over here. You can get some Lugos Craft Distillery shirts. And then they also have a sampling area where you can try their different spirits. Now, the other cool thing is they do host birthdays and weddings here. And they have a nice little area that you can have your little get-together with here. This is their little catering hall where you can have a little celebration for a birthday or whatnot. And then they have their spirits back here. They do some amazing drink cocktails over here. All right, and back of me is their huge 500-gallon column still. It is a masterful piece, which has increased to production here at the Lugos Distillery. Not very big. It took him a lot longer to be able to, not perfect, but to be able to produce 1 barrel of rum. But this bad boy, like I said, is a 500-gallon still. And they can do different spirits in this still. Now here at the Lugos Distillery, they do age their rums in American white oak barrels. They usually get these barrels after the products, usually bourbons, have been aged in them. They do char them, the inside of the barrels, as you can see. And they're getting the sugars that come out of the wood. And here it's not a temperature controlled environment. It is a little chillier today, but as you guys know, in Kentucky, with the changing of the seasons, a 10-year bourbon, you can actually go to Texas, and since it's hot there, you can get a 10-year bourbon in Texas for just 6 years. So here, since this is in Central Florida, with the heat and the humidity that builds up in the warehouse, it permits the Lugos Distillery to be able to produce more of their craft rum and at a faster pace. So you're still getting a quality product, but you're getting it much sooner. Now they do age some of these for about a year. The barrel that Frankie from Roasted Spirits gave these guys, which is the Stag Jr. barrel, it was here for 1 whole year for it to age. You can see here's another one from the Buffalo Trace Distillery, which was brought in here to age. And this is a new concept. I've never been in a rum distillery. I have been to the Bacardi factory, but the Bacardi factory in Puerto Rico is nothing like this. And also the Lugos family, they're from Puerto Rico, but they do not have any ties to the Bacardi family. The operation here is run by Christian's father, Christian's mother, and also his sister. Christian is in charge of a lot of the chemical aspects of the production here. He brings in his education from chemistry to help produce these beautiful rums. His sister is in charge of the advertising and customer relations. His mother is actually here right now, and what they're doing right now is bottling and getting ready Frankie's rum finished Stag Jr. rum, ready to go to Frankie's Roasted Spirit bar for a event that Frankie is throwing Sunday, tomorrow. And he'll be releasing the Stag Jr. finished rum over at the Roasted Spirits in Claremont, Florida. So here's a little look into everything. You know, this isn't like the cachaça video I shot in Brazil, which is all outside. This is all inside a warehouse here. And I'm really impressed with their operation here. It is an amazing place to go. And like I said, you could have a birthday party here. You could have a wedding event here. Also come here just to enjoy some of their spirits. They have a little speakeasy here. And in the speakeasy, they come in here and they have an amazing selection of crafted cocktails. They have two well-trained mixologists that are mixologist specialists, and they are probably one of the fundamental keys in this operation. These guys are trained in mixology, and they are able to give you the crafted cocktail you want. So let's go take a look at this area here. Their bartenders are specially trained mixologists. They put the mix in the ology and the ology in the mix, and they are able to make some premier drinks for you guys to try. So here we go. You know, they're actually doing a little food drive over here for the holidays to help the less unfortunate people. So if you do come here, maybe bring some canned food in here to help their food drive. But you'll see, this is a beautiful little area here. You know, you come in with your wife or your girlfriend, maybe with some of your business partners, enjoy yourself, discuss some business, or just discuss your everyday activities with your loved ones. But their bar here is phenomenal, and it is one that has phenomenal Lugos rums in this. All right, remember, this is a rum distillery, but I will tell you this, I have tried some of their products and I'm very impressed with their products. Here's a periodic table. Christian's a specialist when it comes to this, considering he is a chemistry graduate. But take a look at this bar. I mean, they've got their wood to smoke old fashions here. We got different types of bitters over here. And they also have their coquito in the back there. And then they have all of their spirits. I am super excited to turn this over to Christian here shortly so he could kind of go into depth a little bit more than I can. And I'm also going to show you guys Frankie's store pick, which is finished in the Stag Jr. barrel. Now everyone, this is the barrel of the Stag finished rum, and it is just about to start being packed up in boxes so it could be shipped out to the special event tomorrow. You'll see how they did this beautiful deer antler or stag antler here on the wax. You can see the logo here, uncut, unfiltered. This is the Stag Jr. finished rum that the Lugos Distillery just finished. And like I said, they've been working super duper hard to get this all ready for Frankie and all the Barrel Club members. And you can see all the bottles here. And I'll tell you this, I am going to be super excited to buy one of these. And then over here on the other side, you can see another batch that they're preparing to ship out. But first you can see they have to first put the little piece of tape here for the wax before they dip the bottle into the wax. That way you're able to tear off the wax in order to open up the bottle. So these two are finished right there. All these other ones still have to be finished. And then you can see the boxes over here that they're going to be packing the products into. Anna, who is one of the owners here, is been working diligently hard here. She is here putting in her hard hours of work, her sweat, but hopefully no tears. I tell you, whoever's coming to this event tomorrow over at the Roasted Spirits, you're in for a special treat.
We're going to Puerto Rican culture here with El Pitorro. We're going to learn how it's made. But our inspiration from Bourbon country, when I lived there for a couple of years and got great inspiration. So everybody always laughs, but the truth is that I don't like rum. I'm actually a bourbon fan who brought bourbon to rum in the way that it's aged rather than flavored. And that's why our rum is completely different than the other rums you're going to have. And actually bringing that Puerto Rican, the real aging aspect, not just flavoring things too. So this is our nice cocktail lounge that we created about a year ago. It's like speakeasy vibe. Our syrups and reductions are made in-house. Our liqueurs are made in-house with the base of the Pitorro. It's just able to do so many things that a typical rum can't do. And we're going to learn about that piece too, but more importantly, how it's made, do a little tasting, and then show you the little retail shop and the first still that was Little Moonshiner in my parents' basement in Kentucky. So we'll come through this way and get started.
This is actually their little walk through here, their tour of the distillery with the star, Christian Lugos.
I'm going to explain everything here, but at the basis of how much bigger it is back here. So when we first started this location was just here. That little that bar area was actually my office where I would distill overnight and sleep there with my dog Max. And kind of just everything was distilled, aged, and bought in just a little section. Obviously, we've grown tremendously in the past 4 years, becoming the official rum of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and really getting that Puerto Rican, that Pitorro out there to the world too. So this is our 80-gallon still. When I first started here, it's oil jacketed. It's a hybrid column still meant to make our mashes and also our distillation process. So our mash is actually the beginning of actually what it makes a rum. So rum is actually a distillation of a sugarcane byproduct. So sugarcane itself is a plant, right? When you grind it down, you get sugarcane juice. Boiling it, you get different types of sugars, white sugar, brown, molasses. You get black stripe molasses one more time after boiling as well. Any combination of those or by itself has the ability to become a rum. So it's all ingredient based. Where whiskey is grain-based byproducts, so wheat, corn, barley, things like that are actually what makes it a whiskey. Sugarcane as byproduct is actually what makes it a rum. So we start in the basis. Our 3 different products are Libertad, Bourbon, and Risky. All have a different sugar base, but they're all made very similarly. So it's oil jacketed, so we heat up the oil, that heats up the metal, that heats up the constant side. And we start by putting filtered water in there. Heat it up to around 180 degrees. What's great about Lakeland water is that mineral rich. It's actually sitting on a bed of limestone, similar to Kentucky, which is mineral rich and it's great for fermentation, for aging, for a lot of different things. So that's one of the things I was looking for to start a distillery was a water source as well. It's very delicious. Compared to Tampa and Orlando, Lakeland has amazing water. But we heat up the water to around 180 degrees, and we put a blend of sugars in there. Dissolve it for a little bit of time and cook it up, similar to a hot sugar water. So it's a simple syrup, right? But each product that we have is a different sugar base, like I explained. Once it's heated up, we pump it over to our fermentation tanks. Again, much bigger right behind you, but this is what we first started out with. And then after a day, we put in yeast. Yeast is a live organism that turns fermentable sugars into alcohol. So this is actually where alcohol is being created. So it takes about a 5 to 7 day process for Risky to do secondary fermentation, so it actually is a little bit longer, closer to 10 days. All of the reason is for, I'm not going to get too nerdy, too chemically inclined, but essentially...
I'm trying to make beer.
Oh, perfect.
I just got my first kid.
Oh, perfect. No, I started actually making beer too. I made a wine as well with the little kids, and it's always fun to do that home brewing at home and creating your own things. That's how I first started out before I actually did the home distilling and creating this, obviously. But that concept is still the same in many ways. But the reason I do secondary fermentations, to give you perspective, is when you're creating or aging barrels in a big warehouse, you have esters that are created from a carboxylic acid when you get a certain height with the humidity. Those esters are actually similar to tannins in wine that creates a structure and a nice viscosity to it. Obviously, when I first started this, I didn't have the capability to age anything up, especially for the location here and for Florida heat as well. So I had to do that in secondary fermentation. So a lot of distillation that I'm creating, when it goes into the barrel, it's already completely structured. It has that nice sweetness, but also it tastes like something that's already been aged. So when I go to the aging aspect and understand that piece of why it tastes like something that's been there for 8 to 10 years rather than just tweaks. But a lot of it comes from the fermentation process, the type of yeast that I use, the type of sugars, the distillation process, and everything. Again, so the fermentation process creates all the alcohols. We pump it back to our column still, and hybrid still, to do our distillation as well. So distillation is the evaporation of these alcohols and condensing down to liquid form. Alcohol is being created here, now it's time to extract it. For beer, you're done there, the fermentation process, you strain it, you drink it, right? For distillation, we take it to the next step. So what happens is, when you're heating up these, boiling up these alcohols, they're actually evaporated at different temperatures. So throughout the distillation process, you have what are called the heads, the hearts, and the tails. The heads are the first things to come out. Your methanol, acetaldehyde, acetone, things you clean your fingernails with, that are in the Pitorro in Puerto Rico. Made in someone's backyard. Gets all the headaches and everything. That's why we want to cut that piece out. The hearts is what comes next. It's the ethyl alcohol. But at the end of this distillation process, we have what are called congeners, or tails, or consumable alcohols at different temperatures that actually taste completely different than the next. But those congeners actually what makes Pitorro so special. Because a typical ethanol serves as a preservative, these oils actually now, when you put the fruits in, like we do if you put Pitorro in Puerto Rico, actually strip away the oils from those fruits and herbs, bond well together, and actually create something unique. So, like you see in Puerto Rico, we go like guava, this is how they age it over there. Obviously put the Pitorro in there, put whatever fruit you want after a couple months. It's not a year. Complete misconception, and hide it in the ground because you're hiding from the cops. But essentially, this is how it's aged. So instead of like a typical vodka or rum or whatever you throw in there, you're kind of just getting the essence of it because again, it serves as a preservative. These oils from the Pitorro actually will make it a true spirit aged in that aspect. I'm going to pass around this. Please do not drink it, but these are the heads. These are the first things that come out of the distillation process. You can smell and see the difference between that and the tails. They're coming out, these alcohols are being evaporated. This is the difference between a pot still and a column still. Pot still is just one time distilled. You process it through, you can't control it when it comes to the proof and a lot of different things. So these alcohols are being evaporated, come up our column still, and hits our condenser. Cold water is going through the coils to cool out the metal, and what happens when hot vapor hits something cold? It condenses down into liquid form, causing a reflex reaction. And it's like rain. But we have individual bubbler plates that, let me see. All right. Small version of what's actually going on here, and over there is obviously monstrous. But now this is called bubbler plates. There's a layer of alcohol that is now sitting on top of this layer of this bubbler plate, copper. Now these alcohols that are being evaporated have to evaporate again through that layer of alcohol, causing another distillation. So these 4 plates is actually 4 times distilled. After each distillation comes up a little higher proof, a little smoother, but it does strip away some of the taste. Copper has properties that remove impurities, carcinogens, and metals and so forth, so it comes out a completely smooth rum. The reason we do 4 times distillation is any higher when we get to 95%, that becomes a neutral spirit. When the redistilled neutral spirit, that's a vodka. So when you see 4 times distilled vodka and so forth, how many plates they actually have, not how many times they're putting it in here. But a redistilled neutral spirit is a vodka. You put a basket of herbs, it's a gin. Gin is a herby vodka. But for us, 4 times distilled actually creates a very smooth rum, but also doesn't strip away the taste that we want from it, compared to a neutral spirit. Alcohols are leaving coming through the definitely at the temperature they want, hits our condenser, cold water running through the coils, again condenses down to liquid form into a parrot, and this is where I'm constantly smelling and tasting and knowing where I'm at in the distillation process. So that's how I know the difference between the heads, the hearts, and the tails. Everything does come out in clear form. The aging process is what creates the color and so forth, and the rest of the smoothness and the taste. But each distillation process has a completely different taste. Every distilled spirit has a different taste. So obviously, okay, so artificial natural flavors, what they are. So when you're chewing, or when you eat a banana, it's not like it just tastes like a banana. There's specific chemicals that in that banana that make it taste like a banana, which is why you can taste the different ripeness of it. You have chemicals or receptors in your tongue that actually are able to tell the difference in those things. They'll take those chemicals that can come from God knows what, put it into a syrup, put a bunch of sugar, throw it into a rum, and then you have a banana flavored rum. That's what artificial natural flavors are. Natural flavors are naturally occurring. Artificial flavors, something like blue raspberry that doesn't occur in nature, and those are artificial colors and tastings. We don't do that Pitorro in Puerto Rico. We don't do that in Kentucky when it comes to bourbon aging, so we obviously don't do that here. So Pitorro itself, we do obviously the aging process. So a Pitorro de Coco is actually aged real coconuts. Tastes like you're chewing on a piece of coconut. It's not that flavor synthetic stuff like Malibu that you're used to. It truly is a Pitorro with the essence of the coconut in there. Great for cocktails, great for mixing, but you don't have to deal with that sugar from the beginning. Pitorro the citrus is actually aged with lemon and orange peel, so great for cosmos and citrus-based cocktails. And a Pitorro de Café is aged with real coffee beans. We have a local coffee roastery called Ethos Roasters, who are best friends with here. We trade them barrels to do the barrel aging coffee beans with our barrels, and we trade them for the coffee beans that are Pitorro de Café is actually aged in. So when people are like, oh, it tastes like coffee, like the cocoa, the toffee, the notes, I'm like, yeah, because real coffee. So either if you love coffee, you're gonna love this. If you hate coffee, you're gonna hate it, which means I did my job well. But espresso martinis, white Russians, coffee Negronis, you're gonna see the difference. But in reality, when the aging is truly infused in there with the coffee beans. So you can come in and smell it if you want to.
Yep, I'm there. Yes.
There. So everything is truly aged here. So the same concept. So that's where the inspiration for Libertalia came about. Again, not a rum person. I'm a bourbon fan, rum bourbon to rum. I believe a good sipping spirit makes a better cocktail. So, first of a kind, sipping spiced rum. Different raw cane sugar, black strap molasses distillation process, mash making, but the distillation process comes out a little caramel nutty, aged similar to pitorro with raw fruits and spices, and what it's like a Christmas in a bottle. Age of raw fruits and spices, the color, the taste, smell, everything comes from the aging process. Again, no colors, no artificial colors or flavorings or anything else like that. So everything is small batch together. We do have an oak age variation of this that is phenomenal. It is place tendency of mouth between the sweet, the spice, and the oak. It's if it's risky and spice rum had a baby, Libertalia, that's what it is. So Libertalia was actually a mythical safe haven colony for the pirates in the 1600s. They lived free, liberated people and things. We like the idea of liberating from a traditional spiced rum, so it's actually a burnt map on here. It's got the cornets, the gold wax, and everything you can pass around too, so you can feel it. The texture is phenomenal. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is whiskey and barrel aging. So new charred American white oak. Everything that we do is new charred American white oak for whiskey. This is my homage to bourbon country. 47% single barrel. We're the only rum at the Atlanta Whiskey Fest for the last 4 years because of it. And it's truly 90% of the people here are bourbon lovers. This is, again, bringing that bourbon influence to rum instead of flavoring anything else. This is actually aging new charred American white oak. So when it comes to barrel aging, it's a different science altogether, but essentially when you char wood, you're able to extract different types of sugars. So you have different toast levels and char levels to bring out the different sugars, whether you want more cherry, vanilla, caramel, whatever it is, pepper, or spice. That's what you do with it. So what happened, Kentucky has all 4 seasons, which is perfect for aging, because what happens is, if you get close to here, when it's hot, the spirit expands into the wood. When it's cold, it contracts back in. So that wave throughout the years is what creates the color, the taste, and the smell for a charred barrel, for a bourbon.
Keeps contracting.
Exactly. So that's how that wave is create the smoothness, everything else. Again, pot still, it's not exactly as smooth as going into the distiller, depending on the distillery. Some distillates are amazing. But essentially that's where it creates that maturation and creates that specific bourbon. How many seasons do we have in Florida? Maybe right now, this is a half season right now. That's a problem. That constant evaporation that goes to the heavens is called the angel share. What gets stuck in the wood, that's called the devil's cut. So I'm losing about 10% every year compared to Kentucky, that's around 4%, because it's constant evaporation. Normally that'd be a problem, but the way that I'm doing the fermentation, the way that I'm doing the distillation, it's already extremely smooth. So our coopers in Kentucky, what they did is actually they matured my wood twice as long as a typical bourbon barrel. So when they char it, I'm able to extract the sugar a lot faster. So then, already distilled extremely smooth, aging it a lot faster, using the element, the heating element here, obviously because it's so hot, to my advantage. So within 2 years, it tastes like something has been there for 8 to 10 years instead. And that's risky right here. You would normally not get that color for a bourbon or anything else aging just in 2 years within that. But this is my homage to bourbon country, single barrel. So meaning every barrel is a little different than the next, whether you want a little more cherry or some people like a caramel and vanilla, it's always a little different. Our barrel strength just came out too, which means it's coming out of the barrel or whatever proof it is, and it's phenomenal. You don't cut down those oils or anything else, and it's very unique. And then we do different finishes for different restaurants, like the Stag finish that we do for Rosa Spirit in Claremont, the Blue Note finish that we did for Lakeland Whiskey Society, Buffalo Trace finish that I did for Spurrier's in Gainesville, and I did my own maple cast as well too, so I aged maple syrup in our barrel, threw whiskey back in there, and that maple finish was absolutely phenomenal for Total Wine in Jacksonville, and then toasted maple one for Pesca in St. Augustine, who the chef is actually Michael Lugos, so it kind of works out both ways. The other thing about barrel aging, the difference between Kentucky again and the lawlessness of the Caribbean and South America. When you mix a 2-year and a 4-year bourbon, it's a 2-year bourbon. It's always the youngest age statement. In the Caribbean and South America, it's completely lawless. You throw in fresh rum into a 23-year-old barrel, you call it 23-year-old rum. Again, a lot of ways of flavorings and colorings. They can do it. I know people in that industry, and that's, again, people have to each their own, but again, the difference between what we're doing compared to what a lot of other people are doing. It's truly aging and keeping that integrity to what a true spirit's supposed to be, and accentuating the barrel rather than just hiding behind what's behind it in colorants flavoring it. So again, coming from the inspiration of the bourbon country of aging things, and Pitoro as well, in Puerto Rico, of actually aging the rums rather than just flavoring and calling it whatever you want.
So this is the original moonshine still that Christian used up in Kentucky to start all this. This is what got him started in the whole entire industry. It's funny how he's graduated from a little one to now a 500-gallon one. So I had an absolutely amazing time over at the Lugos Distillery. Christian Lugos and Anna Lugos, thank you so much for welcoming me into your family-run operation. It was truly an impressive operation, and I am super duper happy to let you guys know I got the pumpkin spice coquito and the coconut coquito. The pumpkin spice coquito didn't last longer than 6 hours in my house before it disappeared and I drank it. I actually gifted the coconut coquito to my mom. She's not really big in like high alcohol content and stuff like that, but for the holidays, it's just perfect for her. She's getting into her older years, so for me, I really felt like she'd really enjoy that. And then I had to get my own bottle of Risque Lugos Stag Finished Rum. The rums that come out of this distillery, they drink like a bourbon. While I was there, I even had a rum finished old fashioned, which was phenomenal. It was their smoked maple old fashioned. It was literally breakfast in a glass with some bacon. All it needed was a deviled egg, and I would have been in heaven. All I have to say is, guys, you are doing something right. I want to thank you, Christian, for the personal invitation. It was a true pleasure to be able to explore your whole entire distillery, and it was an even bigger compliment to be able to come there in person and meet you and some of your family members. Christian, Anna, and the rest of your family, thank you very much. I want to wish the both of you guys happy holidays and a Merry Christmas. And to everyone else, I am just 85 subscribers away from reaching my goal of just 1,000 subscribers. Please help me in achieving this goal. I am literally a hair away from it. Subscription is free. And from everyone, from this time till next time, to maybe tomorrow, happy holidays. Have a Merry Christmas. Bye-bye, y'all. Forget about it. Bada bing, bada boom. Hey, yo.